Welcome back to Horoscope TV. Today is Sunday, January 25th, 2026. We are sitting here looking at the celestial weather report for the upcoming week. And I have to say, if this were a movie script, I would probably tell the writers to tone it down a bit. It feels a little too dramatic.
It really does. It's one of those weeks where you look at the ephemeris, the table of planetary movements, and you just have to pause. It has a very distinct beginning, a volatile, explosive middle, and genuinely triumphant ending. It's structured like a three-act play.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we are focusing specifically on the forecast for the week of January 26th through February 1st, 2026. And this discussion is dedicated entirely to our Sagittarius listeners. So if you are an archer or if you have significant Sagittarius placements, maybe your moon is there or your rising sign, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to set the stage here. The planetary alignment suggests this isn't just a standard week of, oh, I might bump into an old friend. This feels structural. This feels pivotal.
Pivotal is exactly the right word. We are seeing a convergence of high-energy transits and high-stakes planetary ingresses. It is rare to see this specific combination packed into a single 168-hour period. We have lunar phases that are demanding completion, we have major planets changing signs, and we have a conjunction that is historically associated with intense power dynamics.
I was scanning the charts earlier, and when I saw the Mars-Pluto conjunction happening in the third house, I actually put my coffee down. That is not a subtle aspect.
It is the opposite of subtle. It is heavy hitter energy. It's nuclear.
So our mission today is to really analyze this astrological data. We aren't just going to list the events. We're going to look at the transits, the lunar phases, and the planetary movements to help you, the Sagittarius listener, navigate a week that is broadly defined by communication and local community.
Right.
But I feel like saying it's about communication makes it sound a bit dry, like we're just talking about sending emails.
It sounds dry on paper, sure, but you have to look at the engine under the hood. When we say communication in the context of this specific week, with these specific planets involved, we aren't talking about chatting about the weather. We are talking about the power of the mind to reshape reality. We are talking about words that act as weapons or scalpels. We're talking about the kind of communication that alters the trajectory of relationships and careers.
The headlines are wild. I mean, we have that Mars-Pluto conjunction turning words into high-voltage wires. We have a romantic shift with Neptune that sounds like a lucid dream. And then a dramatic full moon finale in a fellow fire sign.
It's a complete narrative arc. That's why I love analyzing the week as a whole entity. You can literally see the story unfolding day by day.
So, to our Sagittarius listener, we know who you are. You're the learner. You don't just want to know, is my week going to be good or bad? You want to know the mechanics. You want to understand the why behind the energy so you can actually use it.
That is the goal. Knowledge is only potential power until it is applied. If you understand the meteorology of the stars, if you know a hurricane is coming, you board up the windows. If you know the trade winds are blowing in your favor, you hoist the sails. This week, interestingly enough, we have to do a little bit of boarding up early on so we can hoist the sails later.
Okay, I like that analogy. Let's get into it. Section 1. The general theme. The data indicates that communication and local community are the central pillars.
Right. Now let's unpack the astrology of that. For a Sagittarius, the sign of the archer, communication, and local community usually relate to the third house of the zodiac wheel.
Can you define the third house for us? I think people often confuse it with just talking.
Sure. And that's a common misconception. The third house is really the domain of your immediate environment. It rules your siblings, your neighbors, your short-distance travel, like your daily commute, and most importantly, your lower mind, how you process information, how you learn, and how you speak. It's the logistics of life. So when we say this is the theme, it means your mental processing power is the focal point of the universe right now.
It feels like a busy week just looking at the chart.
It is incredibly busy. But here is the context. It's not just busy work. It's not just shuffling papers for the sake of it. It's about the power of your mind to influence that immediate circle. Your local community isn't just your zip code. It's the barista you see every morning, your coworkers, your roommates. The energy you bring into those micro interactions is going to be magnified tenfold this week.
Okay, so let's look at how the week kicks off. Monday, January 26th, we have a first quarter moon in Taurus. Now, Sagittarius is fire. Taurus is earth. That sounds like a clash to me.
It is a clash, but it's a necessary one. This is your anchor. This is the stabilizing force you are going to desperately need.
Why do we need an anchor on a Monday?
Because Sagittarius naturally wants to run. I mean, the archetype is the centaur holding a bow, always looking at the horizon, always wanting to expand, to shoot the arrow and chase it. But Taurus says, wait, stop. Let's plant a garden. Let's build foundation. Let's look at the budget.
That sounds frustrating for a Sag.
It can be. A first quarter moon is astronomically defined as a crisis of action. The sun and moon are at a 90-degree angle. It creates friction. But in Taurus, that friction is about material reality. The actionable advice from the data is explicit. Get organized with your daily tasks.
Okay, so it's clean your room, essentially,
Hmm.
but in an astrological sense.
It's not just clean your room, it's clear the runway. Think of it this way. You are about to launch a rocket later in the week. That's the Mars-Pluto energy we'll get to.
Yeah.
If your launch pad, your daily routine, your physical environment, your desktop files is cluttered and chaotic, the rocket misfires. Or it blows up on the pad.
So Monday isn't about stifling the Sagittarius energy. It's about building a container strong enough to hold it.
Precisely. You cannot fire a cannon from a canoe. You need a stable base. Monday in Taurus is about building the concrete slab. It brings a grounding element to the fiery Sagittarius nature. You need that earth energy to hold on to because something else happens on Monday that is completely different and very ethereal.
Yes, I saw this. Also on Monday, January 26th, we have a major planetary ingress. Neptune enters Aries.
This is massive. Neptune moves very, very slowly. It spends about 14 years in a sign. So when it changes signs, it's a generational shift.
Okay, unpack this contrast for me. We have the moon in practical, plotting Taurus, telling us to do our laundry, and then Neptune, the planet of dreams and illusions, enters Aries, the sign of the self in action.
It creates a fascinating dynamic we can call practical magic. Neptune entering Aries is a big deal because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the I am. It's about new beginnings, identity, and impulse. Neptune brings a wave of inspiration, spirituality, and creativity, but also, potential confusion.
So while your hands are busy doing the Taurus work, washing the dishes, typing the report, your mind, influenced by Neptune and Aries, is flooded with high-concept creative ideas.
Exactly. And because it's in Aries, these ideas are about you. Who are you? What is your mission? What do you want to initiate? It's a surge of spiritual individualism.
I've heard Neptune and Aries described as the spiritual warrior.
That's a great archetype for it. And for a Sagittarius who is already a philosopher, this is rocket fuel. But here is the catch. If you ignore the Taurus influence on Monday and just try to float away with Neptune, you'll feel scattered. You'll just be daydreaming. But if you use the structure of Monday to capture those Neptune downloads, you start the week with a massive advantage.
So organize the desk so the art can flow.
That's the perfect mantra. Structure creates freedom. Use Monday to build the container for the rest of the week's energy. Because, boy, do we need a container for Tuesday.
Okay, let's go there. Let's move to section 2. Tuesday, January 27th, the powerhouse transit. We have a conjunction of Mars and Pluto.
This is the cosmic heavyweight event of the month, perhaps the quarter.
And it's happening in that Sagittarius sector of mind and siblings, the third house we defined earlier.
Right. So let's break down the players so the listener really understands the stakes. Mars is the planet of action, aggression, drive, and war. It's the gas pedal. It's the part of you that says, go and fight.
Okay.
Pluto is the planet of power, transformation, death, and rebirth. It's the nuclear reactor deep underground. It rules everything that's hidden, everything that's taboo.
So we have war and nuclear power holding hands in the sector of communication.
A conjunction means they are standing right next to each other at the same degree of the zodiac. Their energies are fused. It's not just war next to power. It is war fueled by power.
It sounds terrifying, honestly.
It's intense, but it's neutral energy. It depends entirely on how you use it. This is occurring in your mind. This means your mental processing speed is going to be off the charts. You are going to feel an intensity in your thoughts that might be overwhelming. You might wake up Tuesday feeling like your brain is literally vibrating.
The analysis warns, your words have incredible power now, so use them wisely.
That is the understatement of the year. With Mars and Pluto in your communication sector, your words are not just sounds, they are forces. You could speak a sentence on Tuesday that completely destroys a relationship, scorched earth, nothing grows there again. Or you could speak a sentence that cuts through years of nonsense and heals a trauma.
It also mentions profound realizations and breakthrough ideas.
That's the upside. That's the real gift here. Pluto digs deep. It rules the underworld, the hidden things, the subconscious. Mars provides the courage to go there. So you might suddenly understand, in a flash of insight, the root cause of a problem you've been battling for years. The mental fog clears instantly, replaced by a laser focus that is almost scary in its intensity.
I can imagine a scenario where a Sagittarius is in a meeting and everyone is dancing around an issue, corporate speak, passive aggression, and the Sagittarius, fueled by this Mars-Pluto energy, just cuts right through it.
Yes, they drop the truth bomb. Here is the problem. Here is the solution. Why are we wasting time? It's efficient, it's powerful, but the risk factor is so high.
The double-edged sword, as we called it in the outline.
Exactly. Mars can be aggressive. Pluto can be domineering. The danger is that you become arrogant. You might feel so right, so intellectually superior, that you steamroll over people. You might say something that is objectively true, but you say it in a way that is subjectively cruel.
Weaponized speech.
That's the perfect term for it. And remember, the financial forecast warned about small details in contracts around this date.
Yes, I saw that. How does that connect?
It connects because your mind is moving so fast, looking at the big transformative picture, that you might miss the fine print. You might agree to something because you're swept up in the power of the moment, the Mars impulse overlooking a detail that will bite you later.
So the advice for Tuesday isn't don't speak, it's speak with extreme caution.
The advice is pause before you speak. If you feel a surge of anger or a surge of, I know the answer, take a breath, count to 3. Ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this kind? Is this necessary? Because once you fire that Mars-Pluto bullet, you cannot put it back in the gun.
That is such a vivid image.
Yeah.
It really highlights the high stakes.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the universe provides a bit of a chaser after that shot of adrenaline.
Yes, it does. We get a softening influence midweek.
Section 3, Midweek Charm, Thursday, January 29th. Mercury forms a conjunction with Venus.
This is the perfect antidote to Tuesday. It's almost poetic how the cosmos arranges this.
Tell us about Mercury and Venus together.
Mercury is communication, again, the theme of the week. It's the messenger. Venus is love, beauty, grace, and harmony. When they come together in a conjunction, our speech becomes sweet. Our thoughts turn toward connection rather than domination.
The forecast says it enhances the ability to flirt and charm.
It does. It enhances the ability to be diplomatic. If Tuesday was about raw, unadulterated truth, the surgeon's Scalpel Thursday is about the bandages and the soothing balm. It's about persuasion and poetry.
I feel like this is the day to clean up any messes made on Tuesday.
Absolutely. 100%. If you accidentally scorch the earth with your Mars-Pluto truth bomb, Thursday is when you come back with flowers and a beautifully worded apology. You have the linguistic tools to smooth things over.
It says easy to express your affection.
Use that. If there have been difficult conversations lurking, don't have them on Tuesday. Have them on Thursday. On Tuesday, a difficult conversation becomes a fight. On Thursday, a difficult conversation becomes a bonding moment. You have the grace to say hard things softly.
That is a great strategy. Mark your calendars, Sagittarius. Tough talks on Thursday, not Tuesday. It really shows how astrology is just a study of timing.
It is. It's about knowing the weather. You don't picnic in a thunderstorm, and you don't stay inside on a sunny day.
And speaking of sunny days, we build up to the grand finale. Section 4, the weekend. Sunday, February 1st, we have a full moon in Leo.
A full moon is always a climax. It's the peak of the lunar cycle, the seed that was planted at the new moon blooms. And for Sagittarius, a full moon in Leo is glorious.
Why specifically Leo? Because they're both fire signs.
Yes. It's a trine aspect, 120 degrees of separation, which represents flow, harmony, and support. Leo is the sign of the heart, the ego, performance, and joy. Sagittarius is the sign of philosophy, travel, and higher learning. When the full moon lights up the Leo sector for a Sag, it specifically highlights the 9th house themes of adventure, publishing, and completion.
The forecast mentions this might mark the completion of a publishing or educational project.
Think about the narrative arc we've discussed. Monday, you get organized, Taurus. Tuesday, you have a breakthrough idea and cut through the noise, Mars-Pluto. Thursday, you refine the message and package it with charm, Mercury-Venus. Sunday, you publish it, you share it with the world.
Oh, I see that timeline. That's brilliant. The week isn't a series of random events. It's a production schedule.
Exactly. The full moon brings things to fruition. If you've been working on a blog post, a thesis, a presentation, or even just a long social media caption about your philosophy of life, Sunday is the day to hit post. The audience is ready to receive it. The spotlight is on you.
And it also encourages being active, hiking, long walks, spontaneous getaways.
Leo energy is dynamic. It doesn't want to sit on the couch. It wants to be seen. It wants to play. And Sagittarius is the traveler of the zodiac. A spontaneous getaway is the most Sagittarius Leo activity imaginable.
Just get in the car and drive.
Exactly. Go see something new. Let the world inspire you. It's a celebration of the week you've just survived. You did the hard work on Tuesday. Sunday is the victory lap.
That really covers the timeline perfectly. But I want to drill down into specific areas of life, because sometimes our listeners are focused specifically on love, or specifically on money. Let's look at Section 5, Domain Analysis, starting with love and romance.
Love is very interesting this week because of that Neptune ingress on Monday. Neptune entering the romance sector creates a vibe that is magical, but tricky.
The notes say, you are likely to idealize your partner or meet someone who feels like a soulmate.
That word idealize is the key. Neptune puts rose-colored glasses on us. It dissolves boundaries. So if you meet someone new this week, especially around Monday or Tuesday, they are going to seem perfect. You won't see their flaws. You'll project your fantasy onto them.
Is that a bad thing? It sounds kind of nice.
It's not bad. It's just intoxicating. It's wonderful to feel that magic, enjoy the playful and creative energy. But the analyst in me has to issue a warning. Keep one foot on the ground. The person who feels like a soulmate on Monday might just be a very charming distraction. You are seeing the potential, not necessarily the reality.
Right. Don't plan the wedding on the first date.
Exactly. Or, if you're already in a partnership, you might feel a renewed sense of spiritual connection. That's the high vibration of Neptune. You feel merged with your partner. It's a great week for date nights that involve art, music, or poetry.
And then we have the weekend shift. Sunday's Leo full moon brings passion and a sense of adventure.
The vibe shifts from dreamy, which is Neptune, to active, which is Leo. The beginning of the week is for writing poetry to your lover. The end of the week is for dragging them up a mountain or taking them on a road trip. It's less about the soul connection and more about the shared experience of joy and vitality.
I like that transition. Dream together, then play together. Now, what about work and career? We talked about the Mars-Pluto conjunction being a negotiator.
This is critical for anyone in business. If you are a Sagittarius in sales, marketing, writing, or law, any field where communication is the currency, this is your week.
Cut through the noise. That's the phrase used.
You have the ability to persuade anyone of anything on Tuesday. Your conviction will be absolute. If you are pitching a product, closing a deal, or asking for a raise, the Mars-Pluto energy makes you formidable. People will be a little bit afraid to say no to you because you are projecting such intense competence.
That sounds useful, but is there a downside?
The downside is coming on too strong. You don't want to terrify your boss, you want to persuade them. But remember the routine aspect we discussed. The forecast reiterates the need to stick to a routine to harvest these rewards.
That goes back to the Monday Taurus influence.
Exactly. You can have the best sales pitch in the world, that's the Mars-Pluto. But if you forget to show up to the meeting or you lose the contract paperwork, which is a lack of the Taurus routine, it doesn't matter. Innovation is key. Thinking outside the box, but the box needs to be organized first.
What about money and finance? This was interesting to me. The forecast says the focus isn't on buying clothes or food, but on intellectual capital.
Yes, books, courses, or technology. This is an investment week.
Spending money to communicate better.
It aligns perfectly with the third house emphasis. Maybe you need a new laptop because the old one is slowing down your writing. Maybe there is a seminar or a master class that costs a bit of money but will give you the skills to level up your career.
The forecast implies an ROI, a return on investment. Putting in effort now pays off later.
It's not spending, it's seeding. You are planting seeds of knowledge that will grow into wealth later. Jupiter, your ruling planet, loves education. And look at the full moon on Feb 1st. It explicitly offers an opportunity to teach or share your knowledge for profit.
Oh, wow. So you buy the course on Monday, learn the skill, and by Sunday you're ready to teach it.
Or at least you realize that what you know has value. Sagittarius is the sign of the teacher. This week you might realize that your expertise is a marketable asset. You can monetize that breakthrough idea we talked about earlier.
That is a very empowering perspective on finance. It's not just about saving pennies. It's about increasing your value.
Precisely. Wealth is often a byproduct of wisdom for a Sagittarius.
Now let's get serious for a moment. Section 6, Health and Wellness. There is a warning light flashing here in the data.
There is. The primary area to watch is mental health.
Because of the Mars-Pluto intensity.
Yes. Think about an engine running at 10,000 RPMs. That is your brain on Mars-Pluto. If you run an engine that hot for too long without coolant, it blows a gasket. The symptoms here are anxiety, burnout, insomnia, and just this nervous energy. You might feel like you're vibrating.
The prescription involves a detox, taking breaks from screens.
It is essential. With the focus on communication and technology, the third house, the temptation will be to doom scroll or obsessively check emails or refresh the news feed. You have to unplug. You have to physically separate yourself from the data stream.
And movement.
This is the best way to process Mars energy. Mars is physical. It governs the muscles and the blood. If you are sitting in a chair stewing in your thoughts, that energy turns into anxiety. If you go for a run, if you hike, if you hit a punching bag, you metabolize that adrenaline, you burn it off.
The forecast also mentions the throat chakra. Keep your throat chakra clear by speaking your truth.
This connects back to the suppression of words. If you have that Mars-Pluto truth bubbling up inside you and you swallow it, if you don't say it because you're afraid, it creates a blockage. It can manifest as a sore throat, a stiff neck, losing your voice, or just a general feeling of being choked up.
So speaking is actually a health act this week.
Mindful speaking, yes. Getting it out, whether that's to a person or even just writing it down in a journal. The energy needs to leave your body.
That is great advice. Don't bottle it up.
Never bottle up Mars and Pluto. It will explode the bottle.
Okay, let's get to the lighter side of things. Section 7. The cosmic cheat sheet. I always love these little hacks.
The little nudges from the universe.
Lucky color. Purple.
Classic Sagittarius color.
Wow.
It represents royalty, wisdom, and spirituality. But interestingly, purple is also the color of the crown chakra. It connects you to higher guidance. Wear it when you need to feel regally confident, maybe for that Tuesday negotiation.
Lucky numbers. 3, 12, 21, 30, 9, 7.
Lots of multiples of 3 there. In numerology, 3 is the number of communication, creativity, and expression. It fits the week's theme perfectly. And Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is often associated with the number 3. It's all about expansion.
Best dates. January 26th and February 1st.
The bookends. The start, with getting organized and that Neptune magic, and the finish, the full moon celebration. The middle of the week is the work. The ends are the rewards.
Now, the compatibility report. This is always juicy. Best match, Aries.
It makes total sense. We talked about Neptune entering Aries, creating a beautiful trine.
The dynamic is shared creativity and joy.
Aries is a fellow fire sign. They speak your language. If you have a crazy idea this week, and you will, and Aries will say, let's do it right now. They won't ask for a feasibility study. They will fuel your fire. It's a week of mutual inspiration.
And the worst match. Sorry to our Pisces listeners, but it's Pisces.
Yeah, this is a tough dynamic this week. It's a square aspect, which creates friction.
Why specific?
It comes down to communication styles. Remember, Sagittarius is under the influence of Mars and Pluto direct, forceful, laser-focused, maybe a little blunt. Pisces is watery, elusive, emotional, and with Neptune leaving their sign, they might be feeling a bit lost.
The forecast says, hard to get a straight answer.
And nothing annoys a Sagittarius more than not getting a straight answer. You'll be asking yes or no, and the Pisces will be saying, well, I feel like, and you will want to scream. You might feel they're playing the victim. They might feel you are being a bully. It's just a mismatch of energies for this specific week.
So maybe give your Pisces friends a little space until next week.
Or just practice extra patience. Use that Thursday Venus charm, or honestly just text your Aries friend instead.
There we go. So let's bring it all home. What does this all mean for our listener?
If we analyze this week, we see a clear story. You start by grounding yourself on Monday, cleaning up your act so you can handle the power. On Tuesday, you face the fire. You have the breakthrough. You speak the truth. You wield the power of your mind. Midweek, you soften the edges, charm your allies, and invest in your knowledge. And you end the week on Sunday with a celebration, a completion of a cycle, a publishing of your truth, and a grand adventure.
It really is a hero's journey in 7 days.
It is. And the key is courage. The courage to organize, the courage to speak, and the courage to explore.
I want to leave our listeners with a final provocative thought based on what you said about Mars and Pluto.
Go for it.
We talked about the danger of words, but also the power. If your words have the power to destroy or create this week, I want you to ask yourself, what is the one truth you have been afraid to speak? The one thing you've been holding back? Because the astrological data suggests that if you speak it now, mindfully but firmly, it could change your entire trajectory. It could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for.
That is the question. The truth will set you free, but first, it might make you very nervous.
Exactly. Feel the fear and speak it anyway.
Beautifully put.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode on Horoscope TV. We hope this analysis of your week helps you navigate the stars.
It's always a pleasure to analyze the charts with you.
If you found this discussion helpful, please subscribe to Horoscope TV so you get notified the moment the next forecast is available. You don't want to miss what happens next.
The planets never start moving, and neither do we.
Until next time, Sagittarius,
Aim
aim true.
and travel far. Goodbye.